Hello guys. So we have seen in our earlier videos that queue can be of different types. We have linear queue, circular queue, D queue, priority queue, etc. And we have completed linear queue and circular queue. So now today we'll see what is double-ended queue or D queue. Okay, see, double-ended queue is also known as D queue. Okay, now what is it? Now a double-ended queue or D queue is a linear collection of elements in which insertion and deletion operation can take place from either side of the queue. So when I say either side, what does it mean? Now a queue has two sides. One is the back end, or we call it rear end. Another one is the front end. So there are rear end and front end. So we know in a normal queue, in a linear queue, insertion always takes place from the back end or rear end, and deletion always takes place from the front end. Okay, but now we are discussing about double-ended. So in double-ended, the insertion and deletions can take place at either side. Either side means now you can insert an element either at the rear end, or if you wish, you can insert the element from the front end, at the front end. Similarly, you can perform deletion either from the front end as usual, or you can perform deletion from the rear end also. Okay, so if this is our queue with maximum size 4, then we can input. So let's say input means insertion and deletion from the back end, or we can perform insertion or deletion from the front end. Okay, so this is what the definition of D queue or double-ended queue. Now, how do we implement a double-ended key in the memory? See, there are different ways of representing a queue in a memory. Like we have array representation, we have linked list representation. But a D queue is represented in the memory traditionally using a circular array. So, with the help of a circular array, or we can call it circular queue. So, basically for D queue, we need a circular queue. Any circular queue can be converted into D queue if we remove the restriction of insertion and deletion. So if we remove the restriction that insertion can take place not only from rear but also from the front, and also deletion can take place from the front as well as from the rear. Okay, then that circular queue will become a D queue. Okay, so what is a circular queue? So let's see, let me explain about circular queue. Now suppose this is a queue whose maximum size is 5, and now let's just assume that the queue contains 3 elements right now, 20, 30 and 40. 20 entered into the queue earlier, means it is at the front, and 40 is at the rear. So this is 3 and 5. Now if I say it is a normal queue, then at this moment further insertion is not possible. Now if you want to insert a new data, if you want to insert a new element, then my algorithm will show that rear is equals to max. So my algorithm will tell it is an overflow condition. But if the same array or the same queue, I will treat it as a circular queue, then what happens? If at all rear is 5 and I realize that there are 2 spaces are left vacant in the beginning, then I can make rear, I can set rear to 1 and I can insert here. Now suppose we will insert 50. Okay, so we want to insert 50 in this queue. So had it been a normal queue, this queue would have shown that it is an overflow. But now I am saying it is a circular queue. So after insertion, this will be the content of the circular queue. Okay, now I am saying that this circular queue will be now represent a double-ended queue. Means I can, from this circular queue, I can insert an element either from the rear side or from the front side. So rear index or from the front end. Similarly, I want to remove either from the front or from the rear end or back end. Okay, then that circular queue will become a double-ended queue. Okay guys, so now let me explain the different operations of a double-ended queue. So what are the various operations that we can perform in a double-ended queue if it is represented in the form of an circular array? So operations in a D queue or double-ended queue. So in a double-ended queue we can apply following operation. Number one is push rear. This is one operation. Push rear means, or you can call it insert rear. So push rear means it is similar to inserting an element at the rear end. So it means insert a new element at rear end. So this process will be similar to inserting an element in a circular queue. Okay, that is nothing new. Second operation is push underscore front. Means insert a new element at front end. Okay. The third operation means pop rear. So this is again a new operation. Pop means remove. So ideally we remove from the front side, but I have introduced a new operation here, pop rear. Now this will remove an element from the rear end. So removes an existing element from rear end of queue. Then pop front. So this is a normal operation because we always remove an element from the queue from the front end. So this is ordinary operation. Removes an existing element from front end of the queue. Okay. So other than these 1, 2, 3, 4 operations, we may have traversing, etc. So that is not okay. That's not so very linear. These are the 4 basic operations. Okay. Now we will also need, there are some criteria to be checked during insertion, during push, and during pop. We know that during push operation we have to verify for overflow condition, and during pop operation we have to verify for underflow condition. Now what are the overflow condition and what are the underflow condition? See, since I am maintaining a double-ended queue in the form of a circular queue, circular array, so overflow condition for a circular array, if you remember, if you have seen my videos of circular queue, so overflow condition for DQ is same as the overflow condition of circle queue, that is rear plus 1 percentile max is equals to front. So this is the case for overflow. If this criteria satisfies, then we say our queue is full. Okay. So underflow condition means the queue is empty. Underflow condition means, then how do you check that queue is empty? So very simple. Again, underflow condition of circular queue is if front is 0, front and rear both will be 0 when the queue is empty. So that we can just simply compare front, that, and then we say if front is 0, then there is underflow. So front is equals to 0. Okay, this is the criteria for underflow. See, when we perform push operation or insertion operation, either push at the rear end or push at the front end, we have to check for overflow condition. Okay, and this underflow condition will be examined during pop operation or during delete operation. Either you delete from rear or from front. In either case, you have to check for underflow condition. Is that clear, guys? So after this, we next will see some algorithm for all these 4 operations. Okay, let me tell you that push rear means insert at the rear end. This operation is nothing new. This is very similar. This is the same algorithm that inserts an element in a circular queue, because double-ended queue means what? It is just a queue, okay, where insertion will take place either from rear end or from front end. If I call this one, if I invoke this operation, then insertion will take place at the rear end, and we already know in our previous videos that we have already seen that how the algorithm will work to insert an element at the rear end in a circular queue. So this is the same algorithm. Okay. The only difference is we have to look for push front. So this is new. So we will explain this algorithm in our next video. Then similarly, from pop operation, pop front. Pop means remove. This operation is also similar to that of removing an element from a circular queue, because in a circular queue we usually remove something from the front. So I have written pop front means remove from the front. So it is also nothing new. The new operation is pop rear. So how do we remove an element from the rear? So only this one is a different algorithm, pop rear and push front. These two are new. So that these two I will introduce in our next video. Okay. So till then, thank you.